Okay, here we are with the new van, the 2017 Transit 250 medium base. So note the space back here. There's no extra space in that corner. That's how you tell a medium base is by the line being really close to the wheel. So it's a 130 base, 130-inch wheelbase from this wheel to that wheel center, and medium roof. It is just the same exact footprint as my other van, about the same length exactly, just a little taller. So now let's take a look inside. I've just been putting it together past week or so, and a lot of guys just buy the van and they put their stuff in it and fill it up real quick and not take time to think about what they're going to do with it. So like I said, I'm 47 years old, so I decided to go with these Romic no drill running boards. Make it easy to get in, stepping up. That's on both sides. I put mud flaps on, keep the mud in the rain and all the salt from getting in there. And then I did this threshold. This is something you can get from a company called Car ID. It's pretty good quality, bolts right in. And as you can see, the running board is pretty beefy. It's aluminum, and there is also a lot of holes here to get the water and ice through. So it's pretty solid. Not easy to put on, definitely. I'm very mechanically inclined, and still it was a challenge because instructions are pretty weak, much as everybody else commented on these instructions. So underneath it is pretty good. They do some brackets. I'll try to get below here and show you some of the brackets they give you. You can kind of see that there's a bracket there they give you. They give you these other brackets here. And yes, they are no drill, but there's a couple spots where you actually have to tap a hole that from the factory. So you need an 8mm tap and to do that as well. But again, they're pretty solid. I did that on both sides. Also, just while I'm here, I actually took the time and I brought this van to a shop. We did something what's called fluid film protection. This product right here comes in a gallon jug, and I had a guy put a air hose on it and then a paint hopper, and he just sprayed everything below, all the wheel wells, anything that's possible for water to get in, and undercarriage, because this van actually has a lot of little cavities. I noticed that once water gets in and sits, it'll just rot. So as much as these vans are pretty decent, well built, I'm afraid that there may be time where they do rust out quicker than the old Chevy van did. Just looking underneath the van, they're kind of modular, put together. They're pretty good, cheap, but it's long term. You really have to maintain the rust protection, and that stuff called fluid film is fantastic. It kind of looks like a caramel sauce, and goes on greasy and stays there for a long time. Just do it once every season before the winter comes. All right, now getting back inside the van, I decided to go with American Van equipment, and I got the 5-shelf aluminum to save some weight, and that's a 39-inch shelf there, and that's a 60-inch shelf. And here we got the tower. Again, I wanted to maximize as much as I can for storage in here. So there's the tower. Let's go up inside, climb up inside here, and you can see I put another shelf. That's a 48-inch shelf, and again, floor to ceiling. What I ended up doing to bolt these, now a lot of guys on trying to bolt these things together to the wall. Before I did it, I'll try to get the echo out of here, sorry. Before I bolted it to the wall, I took some 1/8-inch board from Home Depot, and I just screwed it to protect the wall, because anything that sits in these shelves is just going to hit the outside skin of the building, outside skin of the truck, and dent it up. So just by putting a little 4x8 sheets up, just cut them to fit, nothing fancy, just some Tech screws, let them hang, and it just protects it. And then you notice I did some, a typical electrician, I did some Kindorf or Unistrut, and I bolted it to some factory holes that were 8mm bolts in a M13 head. So I used that strut, bolted it, actually bolted the strut with some L brackets to the racks here, and as you can see, that is really solid. And I kind of did the same concept below. If you look down below here, the same thing. I just built it out a little bit with some strut and bolted it in. Over here, I just used some 3/4 inch rigid nipples and just bolted it with 1/4 inch bolts to keep it solid, tight to the frame. Now the reason I also do over here, I did this method. I just use these storage straps that come with a factory cargo straps. I found some brackets in the house and I just bolted these to the corners, as well as over here in the corner. Now the reason why I did this and not the little kits they give you, just basically because I want to be able to easily, if I have to pull this out, say something happens, you get in an accident and all of a sudden you got to rip your van apart and empty it out. I want to make it easy to get the shelving out, easy to pull it out. I don't want to have to bolt through the floor, put bolts in from below and all that baloney. So this is a lot easier to do. What I ended up doing too is, I think this is going to be a fantastic setup. I'm going to have plenty of shelving compared to my old van and plenty of space to store all this stuff. And I did have to actually, just so you know, I had to cut into this foam up here. That's just some foam protection for maybe if they build this out as a passenger van. But you can just cut that in with a knife. There's some wires back there, just be careful. And the same thing back here. You might have to cut out the little wire protector a little bit, but again, just be careful. Cut it what you need, put it right in. That's about it. We're gonna continue to build the van.